You can't make this up.
We are also reporting today that a group of CEOs of the top American retailers, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, and Lowe's, had a private meeting with Trump on Monday. They had plenty to say, but there was one warning that stuck out. Empty shelves, they said. Empty shelves in American stores as soon as this summer because of Trump's actions.
It is that meeting in the Oval Office on Monday that we learned about, and other reporters did as well, that really apparently caught the president's attention. And I am told that business leaders, the Business Roundtable and others have been reaching out to White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and other advisors here, trying to get a meeting with the president, trying to convey to him in real terms the real fallout of some of this uncertainty, some of these tariff policies. And it was that empty shelves comment, we are told, that really caught the president's attention. Of course, you can see why. The whole idea that we would have interruption in the supply chain, sort of like we all saw in the pandemic, simply because of his policies, is something that would be difficult for the White House to endure. So that is one of the reasons we are told that he changed his posture. It's interesting.
So what Donald Trump has done is just given every single one of his supporters a crash course lesson in what tariffs are and how they actually impact them. The Democrats were right. We were telling you all this was a bad economic policy for Donald Trump to do. And it literally took the CEOs of those companies to meet with him and look him dead in his eyes and say, "Sir, if you keep this up, there will be empty shelves."
All right, good people, a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. This is Awakened Africa and I'm your host, Bemo. So on today's video, I'd like us to talk about a certain topic that has been really trending. It has been making headlines in the United States of America and of course also in other parts of the world. And it's all about the tariffs or the effects of the tariffs in America. And whatever has been happening, it's really crazy. It's something that is shaking up America in a way that it hasn't happened since the peak of the pandemic. And this time round, it's not the COVID-19 pandemic. We're talking about the empty shelves, skyrocketing prices, Americans struggling finding groceries and basic needs, and to some extent, you know, the pockets of the average American citizen are running dry. So, well, this time it's not about the global pandemics or international crisis. It's about the tariffs, as I have said earlier. So, more specifically, talking about these tariffs that were introduced under the new president, Mr. Donald Trump. Now, before anyone jumps into the comments with political flames, let us be real, because this is not a political video, but I'd like us to be real and let us be factual. And we are not here to take sides. Personally, I'm not taking sides, and we're here to react and pack the facts and talk about what's really happening and what's causing it and how it's affecting everyday people like you and I. So recently I saw some videos, some TikTok videos that were trending on social media, some Instagram reels, you know, and retail CEOs are literally warning the government, if something doesn't change soon, we could be looking at a full-on supply chain meltdown. And what am I trying to say by a full supply chain meltdown? It means that the supply of goods in the United States of America is going to be adversely affected. That's negatively, of course. So the situation already is it's worse, but it's expected to worsen if something is not going to be done by the government. So we're talking about groceries that you can find, prices that are doubling and tripling, and entire ports turning into ghost towns. Yesterday I did a video about Emporia in Virginia, whereby two companies in that small town that sustain the lives of the people in that town shut down. Why? Because of these tariffs. And experts are calling this crisis a self-inflicted and entirely avoidable. So if Trump does something right, of course, it might save whatever is happening to the common American citizen. So buckle up, I'm going to break down what what these videos for what these creators have said in these videos and react to it in real time and share some thoughts on where this is whole ended up. But before that, kindly, if this is your very first time watching me and this is the kind of content that you really like and enjoy watching, I'll ask you most definitely to subscribe, hit that like button so that the algorithm can be favorable to me. This video can be suggested to so many people as possible. Share this message, leave a comment, tell me what you think. But right about now, we get settled it and I'll be back with further analysis.
We're about to have a big supply chain crisis. There are going to be empty shelves all across America. So what do we stock up on right now? Don't be those people in July 2020 that bought all of the hand sanitizer and then stood on the corner selling it for 10 times the price. We're not doing that. We're taking care of our communities right now. We're looking out for each other because we know that the programs and policies that are supposed to be in place from the government to do that, to take care of the most vulnerable, they've all been obliterated. There's no safety nets in America right now. It's up to us to take care of our neighbors. But things are about to get real tight. I just did a video where I talked about folks from the Port Authority in Seattle and economics experts and how they were saying it's going to hit us in a couple of weeks. It may not look that bad yet, but in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's going to be a rough scene. So are there things we should be stocking up on that we need that might not be available? Again, I don't mean hoarding things. I don't mean seeing this as an opportunity for you to make a big profit off of people who are struggling. Don't be that person. Sorry if I'm chastising y'all. None of you are the folks who would do that, but I gotta say it. But there are very real things that we need to make sure we have on hand because very soon they might not be available, or they might be double or triple the cost. As a coffee addict, I'm immediately thinking about the fact that coffee has already doubled in price since Trump came into office. It's probably going to be one of the things that I buy and I put in vacuum sealed bags and I put in the freezer because you can freeze coffee for up to a year. I just want to have a little bit on reserve in case it becomes unavailable because I can't handle caffeine withdrawal. But there's other things like medication, or my sister was saying, what about your CPAP supplies? Lots of medical equipment is made in China and may be harder to get. So if there are important medical supplies that you need, you might consider buying more of them now. What about KN95 masks? But even things like ibuprofen, Band-Aids. I think America's about to realize how much of our stuff is made in China. We're about to realize how dependent we are on imports from China. So what's on your list? What do you think would be responsible to collect a little bit more of right now before those things might potentially become unavailable? I obviously think it's a good idea for everybody to have some basics on hand, right? Beans, rice, gallons of water. I sound like a prepper, and that's a little bit wild. But this is the America that we have right now, y'all. This is what Donald Trump has done to us. We are scrambling to make sure that we have basic necessities in the wealthiest country in the world in 2025. Not because of any global pandemic, not because of any international crisis, entirely because of Donald Trump's whims. Entirely because of his cruel, chaotic vision of how he wants to run America.
Guys, there really are going to be empty shelves and goods we cannot get within the next couple of weeks, and it's only going to get worse over the coming months. Here's the deal. The last ships from China are arriving in the coming days. They're not going to be sending anymore. They're not. And other countries have already said, hey, we're not going to send medical supplies. Rationing care. And it angers me because this is completely avoidable and completely self-inflicted, and it's going to hurt those who can least stand any suffering, the poorest and the sickest among us. And as a person with a human soul, that bothers me. And I'm doing what I can for myself and my family. If you are able to pick up some extra staples like flour or boxes of cereal, canned goods, rice, dry beans, household cleaners, some over-the-counter medications, just to have like cold meds, Tylenol, Advil, things like that, do it if you can. Go to the dollar store. They have them there. I checked. I was at Dollar Tree yesterday picking up a few things. Seriously, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have a little extra backstop. And I know some people are like, I can't even do that. And that's going to be the reality across this country. And it's only going to get worse because not only is the supply not going to be coming in, what we do have and what we do manufacture here, the costs are only going to continue to rise because the demand is going to increase. And this is completely avoidable. So, are we great again yet?
Okay, I'm going to quote from this article from MSN. As 2025 barrels forward, a silent crisis is brewing on America's shores, one that's about to hit consumers where it hurts. Prices are rising, shelves are thinning, and behind it all is a supply chain unraveling in real time. Container traffic has plunged 27% since March, with some terminals reporting zero inbound ships. New tariffs, collapsing import volumes, and snarled logistics are turning major U.S. ports into ghost towns. They are signaling a new wave of shortages and inflation that could soon reach every household in America.
Something crazy that I've come to realize is tariffs are even being put on things like packaging and ingredients, making these companies to pay more. And that's why your coffee or your cereal might double up or might even triple, and this is where things get insane, because if you keep tariffs on, or you add tariffs on, or you impose tariffs, the correct statement is impose tariffs on these packaging materials or these ingredients, and most definitely before that product gets to that shelf and you can take it home, its price will be more than what you used to. And even this line hit me hard from one of the speakers in the videos. It said it's not a global shortage, it's Trump chaotic vision. That's pretty heavy accusation, but when you look at the numbers, it kinda adds up. Ports are also turning into ghost town. That's not just bad for shoppers. That's thousands of people out of work, truckers, warehouse teams, shipping companies. The human toll is real, my people. So it feels like 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic all over again. Stockpiling, panic buying, but this time it's not the virus, it's the economy and the policy decisions. That's what is terrifying the most. So what we're supposed to do. So my question is, and I'd like you to answer me in the comments. So what are we supposed to do with all this? Number one, you guys, as an American citizen, you must stay informed, of course, because this is way bigger than politics. It's about survival for many Americans. What you support Trump, whether you support Trump or not, the fact remains, policies have consequences. It's like you've made a bed. When you make a bed, you must lie on it. And you know what? Karma is always there, and this is what you guys are getting. So tariffs are meant to look strong on trade, but now we're seeing the cracks in that strategy. Number two, first I say that you must stay informed. Number two, make sure that you prepare wisely. The experts aren't calling for panic, but they're saying stock up responsibly on basics like food. These are maybe beans, rice. Talk about medicine, water, because if shelves are empty now, it might only get worse. And finally, you guys are supposed to speak up, because the truth doesn't have to be loud, but it must be heard. It just must be heard, not to be loud. So you must speak up. These policymakers need to hear this affects real people. And if you see empty shelves, crazy prices, or if your job has been impacted, please drop a comment. Let's keep this conversation going on. Being in silence won't solve this crisis, but you know what? Awareness is might. So let us spread this message. Share this message with your brother and sister, because this is Awaken Africa, and I'd like each and every one of you watching me to be enlightened. So guys, you know what to do. Just support me. hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment, turn on post notification, because every day I post videos like this and like you to be very fast person to watch my videos. It's a week in Africa. I hope to see you next time. Peace out.